What's up, everybody? It's Chris from Pro Photo, and today we're going to be doing some more of our live shopping lives that we've had going on. So if you're watching this on prophoto.com, you have the option to click a link. I can't remember if it's depending on how you're watching it, there's like some links here. Yeah, could be some links in this area. There might also be a link like over here. You never know. But if you're watching that on prophoto.com and you wanted some more information about our products, you can click on one of those and you can jump in there and you get a better rundown of any questions you might have technically about any of the products. Or if you want to break out into one of our one-on-one sessions with, I think it might be Anders today, I'm not 100% sure. We were having a little technical difficulty connecting to Sweden today. That's why you're getting this bonehead right here doing the intro. So once again, if you have some questions about any of the stuff that you might want to talk about yourselves just with a one-on-one session with one of our experts, you can also click our one-on-one link, should be in the comment section. But that being said, let's talk about what we're talking about today. So yesterday we did a really basic 2-light portrait with softboxes. The idea behind that was to kind of break it down to its basics and not have to worry so much about breaking out a light meter, which I mean, if you want to get your ratios and everything correct, a light meter is going to be the best way of getting that. But what we showed was that you could use the TTL remote to get in the ballpark and then bring it up and down. Or if you wanted to do it one light at a time, kind of like how I like to do it, I showed you that technique today. Today, we're going to talk about how can you take more control of your softboxes. And you're going to do that with a soft grid, which is what I have right here. So this is the 50-degree soft grid on the 3-foot OCF Octa. You can get it pretty much any softbox that we make, we have a grid for it. And so essentially all a grid's gonna do is take whatever light source you have and it's just gonna focus it right where you want it, right? So the cool thing about that is once you start getting into some of these really, really big modifiers, you're gonna run into issues where sometimes it's hard to control that light spread. So that's where the grid comes into place. One of the big misconceptions about what grids do, though, is a lot of people see a grid and they'll go, oh my gosh, it makes the light harder. And it doesn't. So we have to remember that the quality of light, so the hardness or the softness of your light, is always predicated or is always dictated by, does predicate and dictate work fine? Or are those?
We'll roll with it.
It's semantics, whatever. But let's go with dictate because that sounds a little more authoritarian. So, but a lot of what dictates the softness is going to be the size of your modifier in relationship to the subject, right? So if I have a 3-foot Octa and I'm here, this would be a good shot. If I have a 3-foot Octa here, and then I have that same 3-foot Octa here, but with a grid on it, the relationship and the size of the modifier in relation to me has not changed. All we've done is taken that light that was doing this and did this. We just tightened it up. So the softness doesn't change. What people perceive as a change in softness is usually an increase in contrast. And that's because the light is being focused. You're not having a bunch of extra stray light hitting the background. So it's a contrast bump. It's not a hardness or softness change. And that goes for softboxes, that goes for magnum reflectors, that goes for anything that you put a grid on. The relationship and the size of the modifier has not changed to the subject. So the hardness, so that light quality stays the same. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially as we start to demo here in just a second and show this. So once again, what does the grid do? Just takes your light and points it right where you want it. We're doing it with a 3-foot Octa today. Honestly, I tell people whoever buy a 5-foot Octa, which is a beautiful modifier, I was about this close to breaking it out before we went live and I didn't. And I'm kind of glad I didn't because that just would have thrown a wrench in a whole bunch of other things. But the 5-foot Octas are huge. It's a lot of light going a lot of places. And a grid tightens all that stuff up. So grids are sick. With that being said, let's take some photos. I have Kate here, as usual, my consigliere. And we're going to show you, we're going to put a light in place, no grid. Then we're going to put the grid on there. And that way you can actually see the way the light changes. And then we're going to show you as you move the light around your subject, how that light, how that spill light and that fall off changes. And just show you how much control a grid actually gives you with a softbox. So sick. Let's do that. Lighting wise, I know like in the terms of like life, what would have been smarter before I started ripping this grid off was to actually take the grid photo. But But who would do it the easy route when you could add extra steps? So when we were doing the demo photo, we were this way, but we're gonna.
I should do it from one of these cams.
Yeah, you can go super wide from that cam because we're gonna be moving. Yeah, we can go to the super wide there.
Hold on, switch you over so you can.
And so what we'll do is since the screw, you know what? Let's keep it there so they can see the picture. We'll just make the adjustment.
Okay.
We'll just make the adjustment. Sick.
Works for me.
So we had you here this time with the chair like this. So let's just go chair like this. You can still kind of sit the same way. Maybe instead of looking over your shoulder, you'll just look this way.
Yeah, sure. Sounds
Cool.
good to me.
Or actually, no, you'll look over the shoulder this way because the light's now on this side. Sick. So we're gonna put the light in place. We have a Profoto B1X. We have a 3-foot Octa on that with the OCF lineup, so you're good there. So let's say.
Does my hair have to go the opposite direction?
No, because you're gonna be looking that way. So you're probably 4 feet from the softbox, just so you all have an idea, and you can kind of see that spacing there too. But she's about 4 feet from the softbox, or a little over a meter for all you metric nerds out there.
Glad you think you're funny.
Somebody has to. Somebody has to think I'm funny. So let's go. I'm gonna take a TTL shot to make sure I have this light right, because when I set my light earlier, it was for a different position. So let's do this. So pop over to TTL mode. 3, 2, 1. Woo! That was light. That was bright. Let's bring that back a little bit. Oh, you know what? Oh, I think I turned it off. Sorry. I had a B10 on earlier, and I want to make sure. All right, perfect. Okay, cool. I just had a B10 on earlier. I wanted to make sure it wasn't infiltrating anything. So let's come back. That's about a stop, or 2 stops. 3, 2, 1. That's a little bit more than what I wanted, I think. Come back here one more time, Kate. 3, 2, 1. A little bit more, but I really like that. All right, here's the final shot, and this is what we're doing before we put the grid on there. So come back, Kate. 3, 2, 1. Lovely. So that's the shot. No grid. Let's grid it up. I'm not gonna, you know what I should probably do to keep myself from being a dummy? I'm gonna lock these wheels.
Yeah.
Until I have to unlock them once we start swinging this thing around everywhere. So, well, the cool thing again is the grid is gonna take that light, the straight light that you see on the background, and it's gonna focus that light. So you're actually gonna see the exposure on the background darken down quite a bit. The nice thing about these new OCF grids too, with the OCF softboxes, is they have like this lip set up. And it's way easier to put the grids on. I feel like I always struggle with like the RFI ones because of the Velcro always getting stuck in weird places. So, but we're out here doing it with the 3-foot. Cool. So nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the soft grid. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. The background, very, very different. As a matter of fact, the exposure dropped a little bit, and I want to make sure that I have that on case. So I'm going to bring the exposure up just a skosh. Let's go. I'm going to bring it up a half a stop. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Lovely. So we'll bring that in there and show you in just a second too. But now that we've got a couple of side-by-sides for grid versus no grid, let's move it around and show you what kind of control you have there. We'll talk about it, see if you have any questions. We also have people in the comment section to answer questions. And yeah.
You done with me?
No, I'm not. I'm never done with you. So this first shot, what we're gonna do is, and you can actually see this because the light's pretty much pointing right at you, is a feathered shot. So we're gonna light her with just the light coming from here. So this grid should keep most of that light off the background. It should go pretty dark. So I'm gonna bring it out just a little bit to try to light both sides of her face, but it's gonna be really hard to do. The grid has a lot of control over that kind of stuff. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Very, very cool. So moody. And then I'm gonna try to, for the most part, keep the light in the same spot, but turn it like this. 3, 2, 1. And you can see just between the two shots how much control the grid has. I think that'll actually be a good demo.
Right.
So we'll talk about that. Thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.
Kate, everybody, the one, the only. And now I'm gonna back it into the scene. Is my camera in the shot? No, but my my autofocus isn't very happy with me right now. Come back.
I'll do it in the wide shot for a second.
It's cool. Come back. You got me? There it is. Oh, it found me. It found me. It found me.
All right, we're back.
Sometimes I have to just put my big oven mitt. Oh, come on back. Come back to me.
Oh.
Come back. Come forth.
There you are.
We're here. We're doing it.
Delightful.
Cool. So do we want to do the two up?
Yeah.
Sick. So let's talk side by sides for the most part. So this was with the light in the exact same position, just with the grid. It was pointed more towards Kate, so some of that light is going to hit the background, but you can see how much more of that light the grid started to take away and control. So it started pointing that light much more focus onto Kate's face. You can see down here with the hand, it's starting to get a little bit darker here. The light really will start to cut off in places. It's where you get a lot of that control with such a big modifier. But if you look at the shadow under the nose, still really, really feathered, really, really nice. How do you like that up close shot of your nose? Pretty awesome. That's great. So the softness never changed. All we got was a contrast increase, right? And then what's really, really cool is you can go and you can move that light around. You have the option now with the grids to just move the light around. For the most part, I tried to keep it in a position that the light stayed the same on her face. So we're getting the same light pattern, but you can see just by doing something like feathering that light away and getting the grid to pull all of the light off of the scene, you can still get a really nice soft light. Once again, look at the shadows. Very, very feathered, really, really nice. You can take that and have so much more control over your background, or really any place that you want the light to hit or not to hit with something like a grid. And then on top of that, all we did literally from this shot to this shot is I took the light from being feathered away. You could have seen it on the wide shot, from feathered away, and I just turned it towards. And so what that allowed is some of that light that was being blocked by the grid to now hit that background. That's where the background lightens back up. So you can get, what's cool here is by doing that, I have the light background giving me some separation from Kate that I wasn't getting with feathering it away and getting the darkness. So you have the control with the grid to do whatever in the world that you want, which is pretty sick. So I think that's pretty awesome. So what have we talked about the last couple of days? Yesterday, once again, we talked about softboxes, doing a 2-light portrait really, really simply. You can actually go back and watch that. We have it on Facebook. We also have it on prophoto.com. Like I said, if you wanted to get that full live shopping experience with it and check out some of those products. Today, soft grids, which is really, really cool. So tomorrow, we're going to be jumping into rim light. We're going to talk about how to make a really great rim light, why you might want it, and all that kind of good stuff. So once again, if you have any questions, we've had things popping up on the screen on prophoto.com. You can click on those. If you want to jump into one of the breakout sessions and talk to one of our product experts one-on-one, essentially, you can just click one of the links in the description for our one-on-ones. I think, once again, I think Anders is there, so be nice to him. He's a nice dude. But I think that's it for the day. Have an awesome day. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.